So this is the DH that's making you feel bad about your life. And then this is you. So, on the left, we have Mr. Gravy Train. On the right, we have Kane. Your agility is fairly close. He has a little bit more agility. Right, you have 53,000. His 58,000. That just means his abilities are going to hit a little bit harder than yours. You have slightly more crit. Not too much, but you do have more. He has a lot more haste. About the same mastery, more or less. You have a lot more versatility. Yeah, 5k agility is definitely going to amount to a lot more. Right, so your gear. Both of you have 4-piece. He has slightly higher eye level than you. Slightly better weapons. So for trinkets, you're using Deadeye Spyglass. Mad Queen's Mandate. So that's where you're getting probably your extra crit from, is this Mad Queen's Mandate, which he is not using. So that's the only reason why your crit is a little bit higher than his. And you also don't have any agility on this trinket. So he's using 2 trinkets that both of his trinkets have raw agility on them. So that's definitely a plus. You're using Cursed Critical Strike, which is fine. I mean, if your sim told you to use it, then by all means. But if you're just kind of winging it and putting that on, I don't know if this is the right move. Don't know if it's the play. Did you notice I specifically didn't say that word? There's some differences. Difference in weapon. Offhand weapon doesn't equate to that much more DPS, but it's definitely still a difference that will matter in the end. Burning Blades damage is very, very different here. Your Burning Blades damage, 27 million. His is 40 million. Your Death Sweep damage is 27 million. His is 34 million. Your Annihilation damage, 22 million, and his 31. So right away, I can already kind of tell that he's probably just pressing his buttons more often than you. Likely why there's such a difference here. But we can check that exactly to see what's going on. Your Chaos Strike uses 39 times. His Chaos Strike uses 45 times. Annihilation uses are about the same, but he is pressing Chaos Strike a little bit more often outside of Demon form than you are. Now this could be because of his extra haste. I'm sure that's going to account for a few presses, but if you look at the CPM, he's just pressing his button faster. Death Sweep damage, or times cast 18, 17, good. So you used Fellblade 13 times, and he used it 9 times. That means that there were times where you could have pressed something else. You could have pressed probably a Chaos Strike, but you chose to press Fellblade instead. Blade Dance 11 times, 15 times. Fell Rush 11 times. He used Fell Rush 11 times. That's good. That's good. Vengeful Retreat 7 times. Vengeful Retreat 8 times. Okay. Essence Break 4 times. Essence Break 5 times. So he maybe got one more Essence Break window off than you. Or he just threw his Essence Break at the end. When it wasn't ready to be lined up with an I-Beam, which is probably the case because you both have the same amount of I-Beams. So he didn't get an extra I-Beam Essence Break window. He just kind of sent an extra Essence Break at the end. Yeah, so Sigil of Flame. Yeah, everything else seems mostly good. But yeah, the difference in casts here is definitely going to equate to less Demon Surge damage as well. So we can look at damage done. Your Demon Surge damage, 10.97 million. His 21.8. Your average hit with Demon Surge, 609k. His average hit, 1.21 mil. Because he was combining it with Skarden's Grace. So every meta window that he has, every 2 minutes, he gets his trinket back up as well. So he can use his 2-minute Skarden's Grace trinket with his meta. So those 7 Demon Surges that he's getting in his meta window every 2 minutes is getting increased by a lot. So if you look at the gear, the trinkets, Skarden's Grace gives you an extra 6,940 mastery. Right, his baseline mastery is 15,000. So all of that extra mastery is going to mean not just his demon surges are going to do more damage, but all of the other abilities that he's using to trigger those demon surges are also going to do more damage. Guardian's Grace is the play over Mad Queen's. I mean, you can use both. You could definitely use both. I use both. In the case of you using... What did you have? Mad Queen's Mandate. Let's go to your casts. Let's go to Timeline. So where are you using your trinket? Okay, so you used it right at the start of the pull, which is fine because you're not using anything else. Let's look for the next time that you used it. Here it is. Okay, so here's where you went wrong. What you want to do, if you can help it, is you want to combine your trinket with a Vengeful Retreat, because using Vengeful Retreat is going to give you initiative. Initiative gives you that extra crit chance and crit bonus damage. So if you can get your trinket to crit, it's going to do way more damage. Because remember, a crit at its very base doubles the damage, but then you're also getting extra crit bonus damage from Know Your Enemy. So you can make this hit a lot harder if you're able to make it crit. So just using it randomly here, maybe you could have had it crit just naturally, but you're also missing out on the crit bonus damage. VR gives extra crit damage. Know Your Enemy gives extra crit damage. So Know Your Enemy, gain critical strike damage equal to 80% of your critical strike chance. So whatever your crit chance is, you get extra crit bonus damage from this talent. So that's why, like, even with Looks Can Kill, pressing VR before I-Beam with Looks Can Kill, you might think it's kind of pointless because Looks Can Kill makes it just guaranteed crit all the time. But you're also getting the crit bonus damage by increasing your crit chance before you press it. So VR increases the chance, then indirectly increases the damage when crits. Yes, exactly. And yeah, Dan makes a good point. Knowing that you're not going to get a third use, you want to make sure that, you're doing the best you can with this. Buff it as much as you can. You should be pretty much using VR on cooldown, right? Yes. So VR is a 20-second cooldown. Your main Essence Break and I-Beam windows are 40 seconds. So if you use VR every 20 seconds, you'll have it up for every Essence Break window and every 20 seconds in between those Essence Break windows. Okay, so I'm not seeing a Sigil of Flame before you pressed meta. You could have pressed it before combat, which you likely did. And this is showing casts, not damage done. So it wouldn't show on here. So let's keep looking. Okay, you used it before that I-Beam. That's good. Here you used it before I-Beam. Good. Yeah, it looks like you're doing that well for the most part. Yep, Sigil of Doom before Abyssal Gaze. I can't get these names right. Abyssal Gaze. We used to have a legendary in Shadowlands called Agony Gaze. And then, yeah, that's the end of the fight. So, see, this is exactly what I was talking about. This other guy, even though he couldn't get an extra I-Beam Essence Break window in at the end, he just sent his Essence Break. Just for a little bit of extra damage at the end. But yeah, you can see on his log, he used his Guardian's Grace right before he did his entire opener. So all of these abilities are increased by all that mastery. And you can also see, just by looking at it, he did his opener just a little bit quicker than you. Right? If you look at where your meta is landing, his landed a whole 2 seconds before yours. I would try to press your buttons faster.